Good morning, students. Please take your literature book, and I would like to remind you here this video is especially in preparation for the test, practice test that will be conducted on 29th of this month, and therefore this video you should see. All of you should follow this video. I am going to summarize the whole lesson once again. Those who have learnt or seen the earlier video or not seen the video, not followed any of them, this lesson, that is lesson 9, the story of Robinson Crusoe. It is an adventurous story and interesting story. It is a most famous story in literature. The writer is Daniel Defoe, an English writer and journalist. Here in this story, he takes himself as Robinson Crusoe and explains about Robinson Crusoe, how he was from his childhood. There are many stories with regard to the Robinson Crusoe, his adventurous voyages and his life. And though it's a fiction, yet it is very much alive, very much alive. And so, dear children, Robinson Crusoe was born in England, York, city of York, in 1632. His father was a wealthy man, rich man, and wanted his son to be a lawyer. And so he sent him for school. But he was not interested in studies. He was more interested about going to the sea, to be a sailor. He wanted to be a sailor because he might have heard about the sailors, and he wanted to go into the sea. And so he finds one of his friends, classmates in the school, whose father was a sailor. And so he, without asking his father, goes with his friend to England. The voyage or the ship which was sailing to England, it was sailing to London, not England. It was sailing to London. But what happened is, on the way, ship wrecks. And so when shipwreck take place, they bravely escape to the shore, and they reach London on foot. They reach London on foot. There he started living in London as a small boy, but as his interest was, and so he meets another sailor who used to take vessels. Vessels means goods. Okay, goods ship to Africa. And so he one day he decides to go with him for another voyage to African countries on a vessel, and that is a ship taking goods. And so on the way, once again, shipwreck takes place, and the ship broke into pieces, and then lands in with a storm, he lands up in an island, and he was thrown out into the shore of an deserted island where no people living. And so he finds himself there in the evening. So as it was evening, so he goes up, lives in the tree whole night, and comes in the morning, finds if there is anyone who has also escaped somewhere, but he finds none. And so he sees the ship far away. So he swims and goes to the ship Then he finds the things, he makes the rafts, and 12 days. How many days? Uh, 4 miles, a huge wave struck so furiously that it overset the boat at once. Though I swam well, the waves were so strong that I was dashed against the rock with such force that it left me unconscious. That means he was unconscious, but then he was not dead surely, and so he escaped to the land. And then when he reaches there, he makes planks of what called, he makes the raft, and makes little higher raft, so that he puts all the eatable and other goods on the rafts, and takes goods from the shipwreck, that is broken ship. All the goods he collects and brings it to the shore, and where he makes a stay near the cave, and he gathers all that. He gathers all this gunpowder, the food items, and all that. In that raft. And so he lives how many days? The night of 12th day. Night of 12th day, that is 11 days fully he worked hard. And 12th day or night, 12th night, day of 12th night, there was another big storm, and that storm took away the broken ship into the deep sea, so he sees no more. And so he, in the island, he goes around if anybody is there, but he finds none. And so what he does, he makes a beautiful encircled castle, that is his stay, with all the things that he had gathered from the ship. All the things that are there, you should know what are the things he gathered. And also he had the pets. How many pets were there, and which were the animals with him, and which entertained him? This, please, you see that all these are, I am giving you the hint. So this would be some of the questions that would be asked in the test exam. Okay, test exam. And so he hunts and gets these goats, and then he also not only herds, he thinks that all this will get over, you see, and then he has nothing to eat. And so what happens, he makes flock of goats, okay, herds of goats, and gathers and keeps them with him. And so he was very intelligently, he makes beautiful stay, beautiful castle, he says, his castle, because it was in the mountain, in little hilltop, and the cave in the underground, and encircled without door and all that. So he lives there. My dear children, towards the end of the lesson, there is one point. That is, as he was interested more in the sea, he tries to go once again to the sea. You see, he is not afraid. And so he makes a boat, a canoe. A narrow boat is known as canoe. And then with canoe, he makes how many days? He takes to make 3 months. After 3 months, he completes making a canoe of a tree trunk, and then he goes to the sea once again. But he was drifted badly, drifted in the sea, and he was about to overturn, and once again meet with an accident in the sea. And so he got no, I would not there. So it is unsafe to go into the sea with canoe. And so then he says that no, unsafe. When it is unsafe ship or the boats, I should not venture into the sea anymore. And then he goes back to the island, and he stays peacefully very well in his castle. Now what happens is, this story does not end here, but this novel, this story goes on, and then what all happens in the next story, you might find what happened next. And some of you, those who are interested in reading like this adventurous story and books, you will be able to you will be able to read. So please find out what happened next. That will be your homework, you see. And so, dear children, these are the this is the gist of the summary of the whole lesson. The in between you need to read so that you'll get some points where you can concentrate your studies. So, this is about Robinson Crusoe. Thank you.